It's Friday, the 5th of May, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's jump straight into story number 1. It's a big one. National Australia Bank reported a sharp jump in profit to over $4 billion, but conceded its profit margins have peaked, sending its share price down 6.4% yesterday.
And the drop in NAB's share price dragged down the other big banks. Commonwealth Bank finished off 2.6%, ANZ was 2.4% lower, and Westpac was down 4%. Now, not helping was more bad news out of the US around the banks as well. Ironically, there was a fair bit of good news in NAB's earnings. Cash earnings were up 17% for the 6 months to the end of March. The group will pay a much higher dividend. Credit quality only fell slightly, notwithstanding the slowdown going on in the economy. But profit margins were squeezed, and Chief Executive Ross McEwan warned things are getting tougher. Remember, share prices trade on future expected earnings, not past earnings. Basically, the fear is that things have peaked for the banks and they're going to get much tougher over the last 6 months.
Sean, there's plenty of competition in the mortgage market. How's NAB doing in that?
Interestingly, the Melbourne-based bank, which is number 4 in the home lending market, is quite happy to lose market share. Well, it's not happy to lose market share, but it accepts it will lose market share rather than write uneconomic loans. Now, just as an aside, McEwan, the chief executive, reckons that the housing market has hit its low. Anyway, instead, National Australia Bank really wants to focus on business banking, where it is the number 1 player. Earnings in that section of the organisation grew by 20% during the half. McEwan was upbeat about the outlook, saying there were signs that inflation is moderating. Most customers enter any potential slowdown from a position of strength, but no doubt about it, it's going to be a tougher 6 months for the banks.
Yeah, sure will be. On to story number 2 now, Sean, and Treasurer Jim Chalmers has a pretty big week ahead when you think he's got the budget next Tuesday night, but he was out and about yesterday calling on the big banks to pass on higher interest rates to depositors.
This is exactly what McEwan was talking about yesterday. The banks are under pressure to make sure that 25 basis point increase that we got earlier in the week goes to deposits. Thus far, it's only happened to a very, very limited extent. Mind you, home borrowers are feeling the pain of rate rises. Yesterday, Macquarie Group and Westpac joined ANZ, National Australia Bank and Commonwealth Bank to pass on the 25 basis point increase. In fact, Chalmers said it makes people unhappy, that's his word, unhappy, that the banks are happy to pass through the higher mortgage rate, but not the higher deposit rate.
All right, on to story number 3. This is an interesting one. The US Jenny Craig weight loss business, which actually has its origins here in Australia, is closing down, raising questions about the local operations.
Jenny Craig and her husband, Sydney, founded the business in Melbourne in 1983, set up operations in the US 2 years later, and at its peak had more than 500 centres around the world, doling out weight management and nutrition information, selling frozen meals to help with weight loss. Both the US and Australian operations are now owned by private equity group HIG Capital, and the US business filed for bankruptcy earlier in the week. The local operation put out a statement yesterday saying the Australian and New Zealand businesses are continuing to operate. But the group's most recent annual reports show a sharp drop in profit. It also has a warning from the auditor about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. Watch this space. I've got to say, it's quite nostalgic. I grew up with people talking about Jenny Craig. I hope it makes it through.
Yes, indeed. Story number 4, Sean. It is a big weekend for Charles III, with the King tomorrow morning taking a 6-horse-drawn carriage to Westminster Abbey to officially become King of the Empire. Not only is he the oldest monarch to assume the throne, but he's also the richest.
Yes, so he has a personal fortune of more than 1.2 billion Australian dollars, having received most of Queen Elizabeth's estate and saved a slice of his annual proceeds from the Duchy of Cornwall estate, according to Bloomberg Wealth Index. Now, the Duchy of Cornwall includes assets like the Oval Cricket Ground, farmland, even a Devon prison, Michael. Charles's assets now include Sandringham and Balmoral castles, as well as the land that surrounds those estates, but not Buckingham Palace. Charles is ascending to the throne almost 50 years older than his mother did, so he's actually been able to accumulate his own wealth. Also, good luck to him tomorrow. It's tomorrow night Australian time. Oldest and richest king ever.
Okay, last one. Story number 5. This is just extraordinary, Sean. Saudi Arabia is preparing to offer football star Lionel Messi a $400 million annual contract to play with the Saudi Pro League this summer.
I think that means a couple of years of this and he's richer than King Charles, Michael.
Amazing.
The deal, which is being negotiated by Messi's father, would far exceed the more than $200 million deal Cristiano Ronaldo signed to play in Saudi Arabia until the summer of 2025. This is all according to a report in the Telegraph of London. The Argentinian World Cup star was suspended on Tuesday by his current club, Paris Saint-Germain, for 2 weeks after travelling to Saudi Arabia without permission from the organisation. The potential signing would be the latest move by Saudi Arabia, which is rocking the world of professional sports. In addition to the recent signing of Ronaldo, the country has financed the Live Golf League, and its sovereign wealth fund has purchased Premier League club at Newcastle United.
All right, that's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 5th of May, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. If 5 minutes isn't long enough for you, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And also don't forget the Amazon Echo smart speaker range. Comes with Alexa built in. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed podcast to catch the latest episode, and you can get yours now at amazon.com.au. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.